This NBA season has drawn a lot of things out of the minds of basketball fans. For starters, we have James Harden, who's an MVP candidate, and a lot of people who are worried that he's going to get snubbed. Chris Paul is playing like he's arguably the best point guard on the planet right now. And then you have LeBron James who's doing things over the age of 30 that we've never seen any other player do. He's in his 15th season and he's still the best player in the league. And that kind of makes me think, how great is LeBron James? That is a question that a lot of people can't answer because we've really never seen greatness just like this. But in this video, I'm going to give 5 reasons why LeBron James is the greatest player since the Jordan era and why really it's not even that close. So without further ado, let's get into reason number 1. Now, it's really clear that LeBron James throughout his whole basketball life has been great. And when you look at his NBA career, he's been great since the beginning. I mean, when you look at the first season of his life in the NBA, he was 19 years old and he averaged just under 21 points, also averaged nearly 2 steals, 6 assists, 5.5 rebounds, shot 75% from the free throw line and just under 42% from the field, and he played nearly all the games. He played 79 games that season. And for us to sit here and just look past that as LeBron's just a great player, no, that is a 19-year-old, and he's putting up numbers that a lot of players in their primes wish they could put up. I mean, these are numbers that if someone put up all these numbers for their whole career, we would be looking at them as a Hall of Famer. But LeBron out of the gates at 19 years old put up these numbers. And then when you look at the improvement from next season, Jesus Christ, it only gets better. He went from just under 21 points to 27 points. He went from nearly 4 turnovers to just under 3 turnovers. He also went from 1.5 steals to 2 steals, went from 6 assists to 7 assists, 5.5 rebounds to 7.5 rebounds, stayed the same from the free throw line, went from 29% from the 3-point line to 35%, and get this, he nearly took a 5% jump in his field goal percentage. Actually, I take that back. He took more than a 5% jump. He went from just under 42% to 47.2% from the field. I mean, this guy was phenomenal, and he got an all-star selection in his sophomore season. So it's pretty clear that from the beginning, right out of the gates, LeBron James was just a different animal. Get this man could not drink. This man came out of prom just a few months prior, and he's putting up numbers that legends, yes, I'm even gonna throw that in, some legends wish they could put up in their primes. I mean, when you look at the first 5 years of LeBron James' career, it's just straight up phenomenal. 27 points per game, nearly a block, 2 steals, just under 7 assists, 7 rebounds, shot 73% from the free throw line, 32% from 3, and just under 47% from the field. Those are numbers that are Hall of Fame worthy already. One could argue that out of his first 7 seasons, he was already a bona fide Hall of Famer. You know what, to be honest, it's not even arguable. In his first 7 seasons, he was a 6-time All-Star. He put up numbers that were straight up ridiculous, and when you want to look at the numbers, I can back it up. In his first 7 seasons, he averaged just under 28 points per game, 2 steals, a block, 7 assists, 7 rebounds flat, shot 74% from the free throw line, just under 33% from 3, and just under 48% from the field. So it's clear that LeBron James out of the gate was legendary. And to be honest, throughout his whole professional basketball life, junior high, high school, he came out of high school, so that's clear, he's been a great basketball player, and I think him being great from the beginning is a huge argument in LeBron James' favor as to why he's arguably the greatest player that we've ever seen in NBA history. When you look at a lot of great players throughout NBA history, the hype that is put on their back and the expectations put on them is something that really makes or breaks their career. And when you look at LeBron James, it's pretty safe to say that not only has he lived up to the expectations that have been placed on him, but he has superseded those expectations. As if you told me that LeBron James would have done what he is doing now, or actually if you told me what he's done throughout his whole career and you told me that at the beginning, I would actually think you're high, because LeBron James has superseded expectations beyond anything that we could have imagined. When you look at his accomplishments, it's something that is through the roof. He's a 3-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP, 4-time MVP, 13-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA First Team, and he's been on a streak since 2008 at the All-NBA First Team, by the way, a 10-year streak, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, also a 5-time All-NBA Defensive First Team, and All-NBA Defensive Second Team, Rookie of the Year, and also he is a scoring champion. And then when you look at his numbers throughout his whole career, it's something that no one, and I mean absolutely no one, should be laughing at. 27 points per game, 1.5 steals, 1 block, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, also shooting 74% from the free throw line, 34% from 3, and 50% from the field. Those numbers are numbers that are so historic that we truly do not understand the magnitude of LeBron James' career. The fact that each and every part of the stat sheet is great in its own right is something that is a huge plus in LeBron James' favor. The man has lived up to the expectations, and to be honest, even though he has underachieved in certain moments, when you look at his whole career and you judge the body of work, it is something that is unparalleled. The fact that he could live up to the expectations of being called the next Michael Jordan, being called the chosen one, also embracing the number 23, the powder toss. He has lived up to the expectations, and to be honest, it's not even close when you compare his expectations to a lot of other players' expectations, because no one's really expected to be the greatest player of all time. And to be honest, even though you may disagree that he is the greatest player, or you may think someone else is, and I myself will share that opinion with you, it is safe to say that no one is expecting you to be the greatest. We're just expecting you to live up to the legacy, and he's lived up to that legacy better than I think anyone in NBA history could have done. Because when you look at all the great players, no one was ever expected to live up to Jordan. No one was ever expected to live up to the greatest player ever. Magic wasn't expected to live up to the GOAT. Kareem was great coming out of college, don't get me wrong, but no one had the expectations on Kareem the way they had on LeBron. Kobe Bryant was never drafted as a top pick. He was drafted as the 13th pick in the draft, and also he was traded on draft night. And also when you factor in that he was the #1 pick in a very, very stacked draft class that consisted of Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Also, when you consider the fact that he had the whole city of Cleveland on his back on draft night basically till now, and then when you consider that he was the first pick in a draft that consisted of D Wade, Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, 3 Hall of Famers that all got championship, actually, except for Melo. They all got championships, and LeBron clearly came out as the best player in that draft class as the #1 overall pick coming out of high school. And we all know when you're coming out of high school versus college players, they're going to be more polished. So that just shows how great he was, the fact that he won the Rookie of the Year. And when you consider the fact that it's to his hometown, he has the hometown of Cleveland that has never won a championship in what, a million years, and it's on his back, and he lived up to the expectations. Also winning a championship in Miami, bringing back a championship to South Beach since Shaq left in 2006. Also, when you consider the fact that he won back-to-back championships, when you consider the fact that he came back to Cleveland, promised them a championship, his hometown. And what did he do? He brought them a championship, not just any championship, but a championship where he came back from a 3-1 deficit against a 73-9 team. Yeah, I think it's an understatement to say that LeBron James lived up to expectations, because he superseded them. Now, over the course of LeBron James' career, I think it's safe to say that the observations that LeBron is a once-in-a-lifetime athlete is something that is so true that it just blows your mind away when you think about it. The fact that LeBron James has the physique of someone like a Karl Malone, but the speed of someone like a Chris Paul, it's just flat out ridiculous. He has the vertical close to someone like a Wilt Chamberlain, and if you see my Wilt Chamberlain video, I suggest that you go look at his vertical, because that vertical was something that is just ridiculous. And then also when you consider the fact that he just has strength, size, speed, all of that wrapped in one, it's just straight up ridiculous. This guy is someone who is 6'8". He weighs just under 250 pounds, actually, 260 pounds, and he's someone who can come at you stronger than someone like a Karl Malone and faster than someone like a Derrick Rose in his prime. It is crazy the amount of athleticism that LeBron James possesses in his body. Not only that, but the fact that he can do things on the court that is just, You know, we don't expect someone of his position, much less someone of his size, to do. He's not as great as a passer as Magic or John Stockton. He's not as great as a rebounder as Dennis Rodman or Ben Wallace. He's not as great as a defender as, hell, Michael Jordan or Gary Payton. But he can do all of that at least a great level. He's an all-time great passer. He can be a great rebounder and get you 10 rebounds on any given night. He can score like MJ when he has to. I mean, look at his 27 point per game average on 50% shooting from the field. That's his averages. He's an all-time great scorer, and we don't even consider him a scorer. He's one of the greatest passers of all time, and we don't consider him the best passer ever. This guy is someone who is all across the board, all-time great in each and every category. Also, when you look at his defense, the fact that he can guard each and every position at least an average or above average level is something that is crazy and just straight up unparalleled and ridiculous. LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes that we've ever seen, and to be honest, he's a once in a generation athlete. We are never going to see someone like a LeBron James possibly in our lifetime. So I think that is a very, very key to why LeBron James has to be one of the greatest players, not only in basketball history, but in sports history. When you look at the feats that LeBron James has accomplished, it is something that is just ridiculous. When you look at the numbers, he's one of only 2 players in NBA history to average at least 25.6 rebounds and 6 assists for his career. Actually, his numbers are 27, 7, and 7, and the other player to do that is Oscar Robertson. Also, he is one of only 5 players with at least 4 NBA MVPs, along with Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And actually, he's not even done yet. And also, when you consider the fact that LeBron may win his 5th, that eliminates Kareem, so actually he'll be one of 4 if he wins it this season, which is his 15th season, which is just straight up ridiculous that we're talking about him being an MVP in his 15th season. And also, as well as everybody knows, he is the only player in modern NBA history to play in 7 straight NBA finals. And to all the trolls out there, James Jones doesn't count because he missed the 2014 postseason. So for people to understand that LeBron James feats are just straight up crazy and out of this world, I'm gonna bring up even more examples, not just numbers or, MVPs and trophies. I'm gonna bring up examples. Let's look at what he did in 2007. In 2007, he took a team that second best player was Larry Hughes, who only played 2 games of the final series. He took them to the finals, where he beat the Detroit Pistons, the bad boy 2 Pistons, with Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace. Great team, great defense. He dropped 25 straight points on them, and he beat them in under 7 games, with the second best player being Larry Hughes, who averaged 15 points that season inefficiently. And he took him to the finals. I understand he got swept, but that's a feat in its own. When's the last time we've seen a player take a team that bad, a roster that bad, to the NBA finals? People may say Allen Iverson, but Iverson had Eric Snow. He had Dikembe Mutombo, even though Dikembe is, he wasn't what he used to be. And Eric Snow is not a phenomenal player, but those are 2 players right there that are better than any players that were on LeBron James' roster. You can look that up. And also, when you look at what he did in 2015 against the Golden State Warriors, where he nearly averaged a triple-double on the team that won 67 games, the reigning MVP Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, who's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. Like I said before, Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters. You also had interior presence with Draymond and Andrew Bogut. Harrison Barnes was on the team. They were a well-oiled team, a team that worked together to win over 60 games, and he took that team to 6 games with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving being out due to injury. So it's pretty safe to say that when it came to dragging rosters and maximizing the potential of everybody on that team and making them work together as a well-oiled unit, there was nobody better than LeBron James. And that was proven once again the next season, because going into the next season, people were saying, is LeBron James really better than Steph Curry? Yes, people were actually asking that question because people had already deemed Steph Curry the best player in the league because he had a phenomenal 2016 year where he averaged 30 points on 50, 45, and 90 shooting.
A couple of things. My takeaway is that Steph Curry is the best player in the world. He's the most explosive offensive player right now in the game of basketball, and he's the greatest shooter I've ever seen.
So LeBron James goes into the NBA Finals with his backup in Kyrie and Kevin Love against the 73-9 team, a team that broke the record of the 1996 Bulls of 72-10, had the reigning back-to-back MVP in Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, one of the greatest shooters ever, in my opinion, the second greatest ever, Andrew Bogut, a great interior presence, a former All-Star and a great All-NBA defender in Andre Iguodala on the bench, Sean Livingston on the bench, and also a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Draymond Green, who actually it was debated that he should have won it that year. All those pieces on that team, and he was down 3 games to 1. And what did he do in those last 4 games? He went GOAT mode, put up numbers that were straight up historic. Let's just look at them. Not only did he have 2 back-to-back 41-point games, but his averages in those last 3 games were crazy as he came back from that 3-1 deficit. 36 points per game, nearly 10 assists, 12 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks, and actually it was 10 assists to just under 3 turnovers, so it was a really good assist to turnover ratio. Shot just under 51% from the field and 42% from 3. A guy also who isn't a great free throw shooter, has been called a liability towards the end of games because of his free throw shooting, and he can't take over sometimes because he can't make the free throws. He iced the game in Game 7 not only with a block but with a free throw. LeBron James showed up when it mattered. When it comes to historical feats, arguably the only one that can live up to LeBron is Michael Jordan. And also, when you look at the face of defeat, LeBron James is still an animal, as last year in the NBA Finals, he became the first player in NBA history to average a triple-double in the finals. He has been phenomenal not only just in winning, but also in the face of defeat. LeBron James, when it comes to historical feats, he can rival anybody in sports history because he proves time after time after time that he is never out of it. As long as LeBron's on your team, you always have a chance to win. The dominance of LeBron James has been crazy to say the least, because when you look at what he's done over the past few seasons, it's crazy that he's beyond the age of 30, putting up career highs in assists, putting up also career highs in rebounds, things like that, in seasons that are late in his career. Do we not understand that last year he had a career high in assists and a career high in rebounds? And also, he is proving that he does not need his physical attributes to dominate the game, because mentally he is at a state that is still in his prime. Because mentally he is still in his prime. Because that's where the assists come from, that's where he generates the points for his team, and that's how he gets those dubs. And from 3, he has been phenomenal, as well as this year he's shooting 40% from 3 on nearly 5 3-pointers attempted. And last year as well, he was phenomenal from 3 in the playoffs as he shot over 40% as well. And we have never seen a player in his 15th season put up the numbers that LeBron James has put up and still be the best player in the world. LeBron James this year is averaging nearly 28 points per game, a steal, a block, 9 assists, which is a career high, 8.5 rebounds, which is nearly a career high as well. And also from the free throw line, which he struggled in over the past few seasons, actually through his whole career, he is shooting the best since 2012 when he was 27 years old. He's shooting just under 77% from the free throw line, so he's improved in that area. Also, when you consider his 3-point percentage, like I said before, it's at 40%. And he's only shot better in 1 year, which was in 2013, where he was 28 years of age. And from the field, he is shooting a career high there as well in 57% from the field. Have we ever seen a player age and get better in his efficiency? When you look at players like Kobe, even Jordan, Them getting older, their efficiency started to decline. Meanwhile, LeBron's, it's going up. Over the past few seasons, look at this. In 2015, just under 49% from the field. In 2016, 52% from the field. 2017, 55% from the field. 2018, 57% from the field. Have we ever seen that before? 2016, just under 31% from 3. 2017, 36% from 3. 2018, 40% from 3. Have we ever seen that? And then when you look at the assist, he went from 6 to 7 to 9. Have we ever seen that in NBA history? Points, rebounds, assists, efficiency, everything goes up as his age starts to go up as well. That is something that is unparalleled. We have never seen dominance like this from LeBron. And then when you want to consider his dominance in the Eastern Conference, you can say the East is weak all you want. When you go to 7 straight NBA Finals, that is ridiculous. When you are so great that teams have to go add the second best player after they break the record of the best regular season in NBA history, that is phenomenal. LeBron James' dominance is unparalleled because he does things that we've never seen before. He does things like increase efficiency, have career highs at the age of 33. I mean, that is something that people in their primes wish to have. He's putting up numbers that people in their primes wish they could have. And I'm not talking about regular players, I'm talking about legends. So when it comes to LeBron's dominance, I think it's safe to say that we've never seen anything like it, and it might be in the conversation for one of the most dominant players in NBA history. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Comment down below your opinions. Also, if you agree or disagree with me, let me know down below. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and add me on Snapchat. The links will be down below in the description box. So without further ado, LeBron, stay ballin', stay putting up the numbers you're putting up, because I want this video to be valid at the end of the year. So I'm out. Peace.
Popping all these pills, she said she used to it. She wanna go way up. Okay, baby, if you're used to it. And I know that you a grown one.